Hello everyone and welcome to Term 2. Really looking forward to seeing you on Monday. I just want to talk through Assignment 1. So this will be on the Moodle. Assignment 1 is the design concept from research to design. It's worth 20%. The subtitle is the provocation. The provocation title is On a Country. We'll run from week 1 to week 3. Just note that Monday, June 12th is a public holiday. So we'll have week 1 in class. Week 2 will be on site. Week 3, Monday is the public holiday. So you'll submit this on the Tuesday evening by 8 p.m. Please try and aim for 7 p.m. Because so many of you seem to often just have 10 minutes late or 20 minutes late, and it's disheartening actually to see how many people often get late deductions that are very avoidable. So please try and get on top of that. The aim of this assessment is to develop a coherent design concept for your chosen site as we reimagine Rockdale waterways. In this assignment, you'll develop a concept design proposal focused on transforming the research undertaken from your previous studio. Your concept design proposal will demonstrate how your design principles and strategies resolve metropolitan systems at a range of scales to create a viable designed landscape solution for a complex site. You will present your work in class in week 2 and feedback will be verbal. You will submit your work into Moodle in week 3 and feedback will be via Moodle. I'm just going to go back over that. You won't present your work in class in week 2. We will talk about it in week 1 and you'll present it there. In assessment 1, we'll focus on the following, and we'll do these exercises in Monday's class, to develop a provocative proposal that honours country. As design is about the negotiation of values, we encourage you to keep the following questions at the forefront of your thinking. This is something we'll focus on Monday. What are the fundamental assets and abiding events of your site? I'll talk a little bit more into this here as well as on Monday. Where do you sit on the adapt versus mitigate spectrum? So the sub-question of that is, what is Rockdale's adaptive capacity? This is a site that is very much vulnerable to sea level rise. And so we will keep that front of mind for the entire term as we did last term. How valid are your ideas? So explore the creative and acceptable end of them versus technical realities. And some of them we will get to discuss on Monday, certainly after Dr. Jamie Rubrick's discussion with us. What will it take to really ground truth your term 1 scenarios? So what occurs at the edges and on the ground? Many of your term 1 proposals were bounded, of course, with your site selections. So this term, I think, is going to be about keeping that bigger picture in our minds and what are some of those web connections that we need to take into account for each of your projects. You'll step to the side of your term 1 work now. Keep your site in mind, but hold it loosely. Jump scales and look at the wider connections of your site in terms of connective webs. Whilst many of you produced beautiful work last term, often with constructed wetlands and bucolic images of wetland redemption, this assignment asks you to begin to reimagine and wrestle with other local realities and layers. So this is a community, as I said, that sea level rise is very likely to impact. What are the connections at the edges of your site? What are the obstacles to your proposal getting traction? How can you learn from honouring country? This is a glossary of terms that will be good for you to come back and forth to because we will use them. Fundamental assets. Some of this comes from my master's work, which I've always found very useful. So it's something I wanted to share with you, and I'll speak more into this on Monday. So what are fundamental assets? They're those qualities that are uniquely of the place and largely unchangeable. So things like midday sun exposure, sand flats, wind protection, large trees. Again, I'll speak more to this on Monday. Abiding events. So as per Monday's lecture, I'll use it as far as Tony Swain's use of the term. So as a class of rhythmed events residing in place. both temporal and predominantly they're spatial. So perhaps seasonal fruiting of plant species or tidal movement. Elaborations are the building upon detailing, adding services used here, as in the inherent growth of development around a desired asset. For example, the development stages of a mine site. So the first level might be principal excavation, second level the extraction of precious stones or coal, third level construction of a gymnasium for miners. Thickening is the growth of construction around a biased event. And in the case of urban beaches, thickening is the urbanisation of the beaches program away from the edge. Negotiation of values. That we work within contested value constructs. Development consumes the scenographic to the horizon, or meaning buildings get built and they all must have a view to the horizon. That's the value. Now that is something we just accept, but it is different for many people, many cultures around the world. And so a property developer may value that as the highest value. A disaster relief value might be something different, like I just need a safe place. And again, we'll talk into these over the next few weeks. Landscape, sport values, again, can be quite different. Ability of a team to come together, quality of the pitch, where spectators can be, what the things that are prioritised. So this continual negotiation of values we have to keep in mind. As per the Beth Meyer reading, another term that I will use here and there is this idea of landscape cyborgs and hybrids, just so that we keep looking beyond the binary relationships. So particularly that ground figure and ground, and also man and nature. We look towards the hybrid, human nature and non-human nature, as per Olmsted's emerald necklace in Boston. And will take pleasure in the confusion of boundaries. One of my favourite expressions I've always found useful is this: the site speaks prior to the act of design, as per the Beth Meyer article. And again, that'll be something I will be pulling you up on throughout the term. Submission requirements. For week 3, it'll be a digital submission of both hand and digital work. The hand work can be photographed and will be getting done in class, but for the most part. Include a series of brainstorming provocative drawings from class and also from the site visit the next week, either analytical or propositional, that extend from your term 1 work, showing 7 multiple scale sections. So from a very large scale, what I call the extra large, the extra large, medium, small, extra small. So coming into that sort of almost microbial possibility. This is something we can explore through the entire term, jumping through these scales. Access the GPS data, and there'll be a link in the Moodle. Part of this is that you get a really good sense of the depth of the ocean out, let's say 15 kilometres from shore. That becomes something very interesting to be considering when we're talking about sea level rise, just this volume of water. 2 spatial drawings of your site that respond directly to the content in week 1 and 2 lectures. So that means I want you to listen to the lectures. There'll be 2 of them on Monday, one both from myself, a short one, and then a longer one from Jamie as well. 1 A3 drawing that shows the fundamental assets of the site. Again, we'll talk about this on Monday and do a workshop. 1 A3 drawing that shows the abiding events of the site. 1 A1 scaled concept plan that represents a special response based on the series of drawings you've undertaken in week 1 and 2. This can be analogue, but needs to be a scaled drawing with a range of line weights present. And you'll be graded on divergent thinking. I'm sorry I haven't completed the rubric yet, but divergent thinking will be part of it. Feedback. This will be verbal from tutors and peers at presentation, and from rubric from your submission. follow the AI policy as written there, and I will get this up online so that you've just got it in your mind. We're going to have some questions on Monday. That's it for now. Bye.